Good morning, everybody, and a happy Friday morning to you. I hope everybody had a fabulous week. Oh my gosh, we have so much to cover in here. I bet you can guess from the thumbnail. Thank you to that one on Twitter for this picture. There's a lot, as usual. Let's jump in. Let's go. We're starting back off with the Princess of Wales. Now, I told you yesterday that she attended the launch of Foundations for Life, a guide to social and emotional development at the University of East London in London. Well, some more pictures came out, beautiful photos. You know how I am. So sit back, listen to some fabulous music, and let's take a look. Big thank you to Remoulade Sauce and Carol M for letting me know what Catherine was wearing. Let's continue. Let's move on now. For those who don't remember, it was the 3rd anniversary of King Charles's historic coronation on May 6th. So Princess Anne was leading the way in the commemorations by arriving in a horse-drawn carriage. And she did this to attend the Royal Gun Salute at Hyde Park in London, and they shot off 41 rounds. Now, when she got there, of course, she took her place on, again, I believe it's the dais. It was like a stand with a bar around it to hang on to, I guess. And while she was up there, she took the Royal Gun Salute, and there was a bit of a parade. Then, following this salute, she inspected the regiment and she spoke with the soldiers. She wore her signature long red coat, which we know is a staple in her wardrobe for over 25 years. She accessorized it with 2 gold brooches, a horse-shaped pin, and a palm leaf. Now, as a counselor of state, just a reminder, Princess Anne is authorized to act on behalf of the sovereign when he is absent or unwell. And her leading role in these celebrations really emphasizes her position as a key responsibility holder within the royal family. Also notice that she was in Hyde Park this year. She did Leeds in early 2026, but that trip was for a planned engagement in her capacity as patron of the Butlers. So as they're setting up for the gun salute, some ducks waddled into the area. And so 2 soldiers from the King's troop guided the family away from the firing line. Can't help but notice how professional these guys were, and they didn't act like this, trying to get some ducks off the property. Shocking. Well, also at 1 p.m., a 62-round gun salute was fired at the Tower of London to mark the same anniversary. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's hard to believe it's been 3 years already. Like, it literally seems like just yesterday. Next up, we have the Duchess of Gloucester. I told you guys that she opened a community and diagnostic center on the Isle of Wight on May 1st, and some more pictures came out. I had to show them. Next up, we have Sir Tim Lawrence as Vice President of the RNLI. He presented John Morgan with the 200th anniversary certificate during a visit to a lifeboat station. Let's go back to King Charles. He received Alejandro Monero, the ambassador from Mexico, and Fabio Cassis, the ambassador from Italy, during private audiences at St. James Palace. Next up, we have the Duchess of Edinburgh. While she was in Stevenage, remember she went to the science place? Well, she ended up going to the Bioscience Catalyst also. She met early stage companies that are developing new treatments in cancer, women's health, and RNA-based medicine, and she unveiled a beautiful plaque. Once again, a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce and to Carol M. for showing us what the Duchess of Edinburgh was wearing to this event and to the one I told you about yesterday. Let's move on. Now, this next thing is really cool. The King's Foundation and Amazon got together. Remember they did Finding Harmony, A King's Vision for Amazon Prime? Well, what they did here was they brought 8 talented costume makers from across the UK. They completed intensive training programs. Some came from London College of Fashion, Birmingham City University, Glasgow School of Art, that kind of thing. They studied tailoring, embroidery, leatherwork, dyeing methods, that sort of thing. And then they developed original costume creations inspired by notable Amazon studio productions, including The Rig and the period drama My Lady Jane. And then, of course, they did an exhibition, which, by the way, finished at Trinity Buoy Wharf on the River Thames. It was a public showcase. It looked amazing. All right, next up, this is really exciting. King Charles and Queen Camilla rang in the start of the summer with the very first Buckingham Palace garden party of the year, although it wasn't very sunny. There were about 8,000 people there. A lot of them were first responders. You had King Charles and Queen Camilla. You saw the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. You saw the Princess Royal, and while it's hard to see, behind them, you had the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester. Now, this took place on May 6th, the anniversary of the coronation. We saw the Princess Royal. She's changed clothes, but you should know that the King's garden parties are also taking place on May 8th, and there'll be another one on May 12th. And a further 2 garden parties for specific charities will be hosted in May, and a third will be at the Palace of Holyrood in Edinburgh on June 30th when the royal family heads to Scotland for Royal Week. And this year, the garden party is celebrating frontline workers from across the UK. And so, like I said, that was the focus of the party today. They recognize dedication and contribution of those who serve their community through volunteering, supporting charitable causes, and working for emergency services. One of those garden parties that's coming up will be the King's Trust 50th Anniversary Garden Party, and it is supported by the King's Trust, and it brings together 4,000 beneficiaries, volunteers, staff, and supporters to celebrate 50 years of the King's Trust. Now, historically, garden parties replace presentation parties that were attended by debutantes, and it evolved into a way to recognize and reward public service. So on this day, the palace gates are open around 3 p.m. and the party officially begins when members of the royal family enter the garden, which happens at 4 p.m. when the national anthem is played by one of the 2 military bands present. And then when the bands continue to play a selection of music, the members of the royal family circulate among the guests through what they call lanes. Each one takes a different route, and random presentations are made so everyone has an equal chance of speaking to a royal. And this appearance, by the way, is their first joint appearance since they left the United States following their very successful state visit. Now, there was one dog there, adorable. He was there as a service animal for hearing dogs for deaf people that helps them reconnect, have companionship and, confidence. They're expertly trained hearing dogs and peer-led support services. So at the place was this dog named Vegas. He jumped up on all 3 royals. And he's just so cute. I don't think anybody cared. And again, a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for showing us what the Queen and what Sophie was wearing at this event. Let's continue. Let's move on to some other news. They're saying that Serena Williams, because she appeared at the Met Gala where Meghan and Harry were not invited, alongside Edward Enfield and Emma Thin, it's a high-profile show of alliance, is what it is. And they're saying it's proof that Serena's friendship with Meghan has definitely cooled. That doesn't surprise me at all. Not to mention, they went to Anna Wintour's pre-party. They went to the Bezos's pre-party. Again, Harry and Meghan were not invited. Now, this shows a shifting of alliances within celebrity circles, which I think is a normal thing. But the fact that Serena is choosing to spend so much time so close to Emma and Edward, who have both been linked to a cooling in their relationship with Meghan, reads as more than just a coincidence. Whether she intended it that way or not, there's a visual narrative that shows that things are not so well. What's being reported is that the Met Gala actually operates as like a social barometer. It's where relationships are endorsed, recalibrated, or allowed to fade without a word spoken. And Serena's closeness with Emma Thin was on full display in the lead up to the gala. You know, we saw the preparation video and arriving arm in arm at the pre-gala celebrations, you know, with the Bezoses. I mean, we know what's going on here. Yeah. And do you remember I told you that it seems like all of Serena's dresses are too tight? Well, a big thank you to that one for this. This is not AI. This is Serena. I wonder if she could breathe. She wants to show off her weight loss. I get it. I mean, yeah. All right, let's move on because we know that Harry and Meghan's son supposedly turned 7. So what does she do? She puts out the typical bland photos. Harry is laying in bed with the baby on his lap. Hair's been photoshopped. That's very obvious. The pictures that she puts out are from the back. I'm not shocked. The boy looks way smaller than a 7-year-old should. The kids the picture doesn't look right. I mean, I just don't get it. Of course, the picture she puts out is at the beach, just like the Wales children. I keep thinking, my God, she said the last 7 years were the worst years of her life. I mean, I literally feel bad for that kid. Here's what I get from this picture. 2 lonely children by themselves walking in the middle of nowhere. There's absolutely nothing endearing in any way, shape, or form about this picture. I feel bad for those kids. I seriously do. And at this point, nobody wants to see them. So she might as well stop with this. Funny enough, one of my subscribers on Twitter, her name is Lindsay Jones, said she's shocked we didn't get this picture. And I agree. I also couldn't help but notice that when the girl had her birthday, they went to Disney. There was a big thing about it, and there was a huge cake, and she penned in the past previous stuff like this, but the boy doesn't get any of that. I mean, it's obvious who she prefers. We're going to move on now to compartes. You know, Meghan is trying to sell this chocolate to you. It's so exclusive. It's so, it's her as ever brand, but come to find out that's not true. If you go on their website, which I did, by the way, if you go on their website and you go down, what you find is that anybody can order this stuff for whatever reason, for a bar mitzvah, for a birthday, for whatever. It's absolutely insane. So you go to the bottom, you choose which kind of packaging you want. You upload your logo because they're going to put your logo on the candy. You choose the box. You have one that looks just like Meghan's. And then you have other bigger ones and smaller ones. You choose the color. They put your logo, whatever it is, on the box. And then they ship it out. They even let you choose what goes in the box. Is there a cover over the top? Is there tissue paper? So there's nothing special about her candy. Now, I don't know what this costs because it wouldn't give me an amount unless I uploaded a logo, went through the whole thing and then told them I wanted 1,000 boxes. It wouldn't tell me how much, but I have a feeling it's not that much. Then she's also selling her candles, right? $50 something, $60 something a candle. So I go online. You guys are going to love this. I'm sorry for the bad screenshot. I found these candles. Look at the price. Like, it's unbelievable. It comes out to $1.28 per container. Yeah, and they'll even put the logo on for free. Now let's look at her statistics, and a big thank you to HRH Jen for this. The website shows that people drop in and drop out of her site very quickly, and Princess Carparkle pointed out the website had 173,000 visits, and her ex account had 737,000 visits in the last week. Meghan's stats are for a whole month. So the truth is, her website really isn't getting a lot of traffic. Now, we know that Meghan is watching social media because we heard about how Kris Jenner hasn't been reacting to any of her posts and hasn't been liking them. So, of course, Meghan sends Kris Jenner a Mother's Day package with the royal insignia on the top, but it's what she said on it that really caught my attention. She said she's the most maternal woman in the world. Gee, I wonder what Doria thinks of that. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that she's love bombing her because she really needs her. But for me, this shows that Meghan is still in the prove it stage of her life. All right, before we get to our big story, I have to talk about this. The fact that Harry and Meghan went to Australia, they're saying that he's trying to reinstate his taxpayer-funded police security. This decision, by the way, is still pending. And they're saying if you see Meghan and the children, that means that he won the taxpayer-funded security. He's even said that he's hoping to bring his children and take them to Sandringham over the summer for some family time with his grandfather, the king. The problem is, number one, he has not received an invite to Sandringham. Number two, they're saying that royal tour and the fact that Meghan combined charity events with commercial opportunities might affect the outcome of the security review. So remember, Ravik is still doing the review, and Harry is arguing that as the son of the king, he has the birthright of having taxpayer-funded security around the world wherever he goes and nothing less. The problem is the trip to Australia where Meghan gets a slice of money every time somebody buys something off of that AI website, including the dress she wore to the homeless shelter and all of that stuff. They're saying if Harry wins back his right to taxpayer-funded security, how is that going to play out? Because Meghan is going to be using the taxpayer-funded security to generate income with commercial ventures. So should taxpayers be footing the bill for that? That is going to play into the security review. I will be keeping an eye on this story. All right, let's move on to our big story for today. Articles are saying that Meghan is returning to the UK this summer. Of course, I told you guys, she's not going to miss the chance to prance around and change clothes 10 times a day. So she will be there for the kickoff to the 2027 Invictus Games, even though, if you can believe this, Harry is making requests before they come back over. So the last thing they're saying Meghan wants is to walk into a situation where she feels judged. So Harry is asking that she be treated with basic respect and not be cast as a villain before anything's even happened. He wants everyone to be polite and give her a fair chance. Is this a joke? He wants her to be given a fair chance. Well, I got to be honest. I think she should be given just as much respect as she gave to the royal family and the Queen. I think she should be given just as much respect as Thomas Markle has received from her and from Harry. Give her a chance? First of all, no senior member of the royal family is going to meet with Harry and Meghan. It's just not going to happen. And the royal family is always very nice and polite. And I'm pretty sure Harry's going to dangle the children as a sweetener to try to get the king to bend. It's not going to happen. And I don't understand what he means by basic respect. She has not shown respect or caring for anybody. She has lied about the royal family. She has threatened the royal family. Respect is earned, not given. You get what you give. They're not going to be on royal property. They're not going to be around the family. And every time I look at Harry, I keep remembering how he had a therapist on tap. But when his wife was supposedly suicidal, he didn't do anything to help her. Not a damn thing. They're trying to provoke the royal family. That's what they're doing because they want to claim victim status again. Now, insiders are saying that Harry is well aware of the response that Meghan's going to get, how she'll be treated once she's on UK soil. So he's pushing for a clear the air talks with his dad, along with the assurances. And the demands he's making on behalf of Meghan is already rubbing people up the wrong way. Harry says he has no choice just based on how badly things have gone in the past. But after the personal information he released, after all of the horrible things that she and he have said about the royal family, after they've gone against the Sandringham agreement and they've done everything they've been told not to do, she's not going to be treated politely by anybody because the family will have nothing to do with them. Yeah, we haven't forgotten what you did to your family. Oh my God. Okay, you guys know what I want. Put those comments down, make them good. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my father's book, which remains up for sale on Amazon, a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.